And thanks for joining us on this election night as Texas decides its future. Results are pouring in right now, and tonight we have live team coverage. Our KENS 5 reporters are spread out across the state from the border to San Antonio. Our crews are bringing you insight into the biggest races that matter to you, from Texas governor to Bexar County Judge and a key South Texas congressional race. And we'll start with the state's top race. Governor Greg Abbott is leading his Democratic challenger, Beto O'Rourke. As we look at these vote totals, with only 35% of the vote in, CBS News is now projecting a win for Governor Abbott. Both Abbott and O'Rourke are expected to speak to their supporters momentarily. Hannah Tita is in El Paso with O'Rourke's campaign, but first, Matt Houston is in McAllen, where Abbott is set to give a victory speech tonight. Matt?
Yeah, ECs, that could happen any minute. In fact, the governor just took the stage a few moments ago. He may not talk right now, but we expect that will happen in just a couple of moments. You can kind of see the crowd behind me. Lots of phones up in the air. They just finished a sort of hype video for the governor, but this crowd has been hyped since basically 7:30 when they opened the doors to the general public to come in. Obviously, lots of high-dollar donors here, along with campaign staffers. And we expect the governor will give a victory speech momentarily. It's been a fun night for his supporters here. We've gotten a real treat in a band, comprised of teenagers in the area, a great atmosphere here, and obviously lots of smiling faces. A celebratory evening for them that probably won't end anytime soon. The governor's taking the podium now. We want to give you an opportunity to hear what he has to say as he seeks and claims another term.
That's what I call a warm South Texas welcome right there. And to the mayor, I want to say it's an honor to be in your town to celebrate this incredible night right here in McAllen, Texas. Listen, I want to start out by thanking the most important person to me, and that is the fabulous First Lady of the great state of Texas, my wife, Cecilia Abbott. And we're so proud to have a young lady that we admire more than any other young lady in the world, and that's our wonderful daughter, Audrey Abbott. And I want to thank all of the volunteers, all of our supporters, and my fellow Texans for making this victory night possible. Thank you all. So let's go back. We started this campaign in South Texas. We celebrated my primary victory in South Texas. Tonight, we return to South Texas to celebrate my re-election for you being your governor for 4 more years.
And there you heard it, Texas Governor Greg Abbott claiming victory. He will serve another term as Texas governor. We continue our team coverage right now. Hannah Tita joins us live in El Paso, where Beto O'Rourke is now set to speak. Hannah?
Yeah, that's right, ECs. We just heard the few-minute warning that Beto O'Rourke is expected to take the stage. It sounds like they are calling everyone to get closer to the stage. This ballroom has really filled up. Everyone was called out of the courtyard into this ballroom. You can see it is just packed in here. This was a really hard-fought campaign for O'Rourke. Texas hasn't had a Democratic governor for nearly 30 years. O'Rourke brought his message to communities right across the state, holding about 70 rallies over the summer. He campaigned until the last minute, though, visiting polls in Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. We are listening in. It sounds like he will be taking the stage shortly. I'm going to pause for a second so you can hear what they're saying behind me. And I can tell you the atmosphere really changed early on as results started to come in. We just heard just cheers erupting from this room as O'Rourke took that early lead. But then, of course, Abbott just jumped ahead. And as you said, ECs, we are calling that race here tonight. But, you know, I did talk to supporters who said no matter what, they are just so proud of the campaign that O'Rourke led. You know, they are proud of him being right here from El Paso for standing for what they believe in. And it really comes down to, for these supporters that we talk to, women's rights, immigration reform, gun reform, and we're just going to be cutting back in as soon as we hear from O'Rourke. So stay with us. We're going to string that on air and online. Back to you.
All right, Hannah, thanks so much. Now to one of the biggest local races. Democrat Peter Sakai will be the first new Bexar County judge in 20 years. Sakai took a commanding lead over Republican Trish DeBerry. She conceded about 90 minutes ago. Alicia Nieves joins us from the DeBerry Watch Party. But first, Henry Ramos is live with Sakai and his supporters tonight. Henry, a huge celebration out there.
Huge celebration, Easties. In fact, they're still out here. Big smiles, thanking God, his family, and supporters. You hear him tonight. Peter Sakai told me point blank, we did it. In the last half hour, outgoing Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf was here to congratulate him. You hear them there cheering on. Sakai says even though not all the numbers are in, the work starts now.
Let us enjoy the victory. Let us enjoy each other. God bless Bexar County.
May be difficult to hear, but you hear him cheering behind me tonight. Sakai says we must move forward with hope and optimism. He says this is a win for Bexar County and his supporters. He says he ran a positive campaign and they stayed on the issues. And there are a lot of issues he wants to tackle. His top ones going into office, public health and safety. He says while he'll be working with the sheriff who was here to make sure deputies and the employees at the jail are getting compensated. Sakai says he wants to make sure their working conditions are also up to par. As he put it, there's a lot of issues that he wants to focus on. You know, I did ask him what will be a challenge going into this role. Listen to what he told me.
I think the biggest challenge is to bring everybody together. How can we communicate? How can we agree to disagree? How can we come up with solutions when we got this political divide?
You know, Sakai also pointed out that now you have 2 Asian Americans as top leaders. Of course, referring to the Mayor Ron Nirenberg, who was here tonight, and now County Judge. As for outgoing Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf, his term expires on December 31st, and then Judge Sakai will take office the next day on January 1st. We're live on the Northwest Side tonight. Henry Ramos, KENS 5.
Thank you, Henry. Now let's get to Sakai's opponent, Republican Trish DeBerry, who, as we mentioned, conceded about an hour and a half ago. Alicia Nieves is at the former commissioner's watch party right now. Alicia.
When Trish DeBerry took the stage right behind me, Isis, the first thing she did was congratulate Judge Peter Sakai. With her son and her daughter by her side, she says, I want the two of you to learn a lesson from this. She says, even if you fail, you have to keep going. And she doesn't regret running for Bexar County Judge. She says she doesn't consider today a loss. This is just propelling her to her next chapter. She told reporters tonight she knows politics. She has experience as county commissioner, but what was eye-opening on this campaign trail was what she considers a double standard for women who run for office.
The ads that were taken out against me, $250,000, I think were sexist. I think were misogynistic. The direct mail that was dropped with my face on the head of Winnie the Pooh, I think kind of had a sexist tone to it. So, yeah, I mean, those things are bothersome to women who want to accomplish great things.
So what is next for Trish DeBerry? She says she will take a break with the holidays approaching. She may go to law school. She could go back to PR. She said the world is her oyster. She hopes Judge Sakai will focus on the domestic violence problem in Bexar County, just like she did as Bexar County Commissioner. Her hope is Sakai has a vision to bring this community forward. DeBerry ended tonight with a phone call to Judge Sakai, congratulating him personally. Live on the Northwest Side, Alicia Nieves, KENS 5.
Thank you, Alicia. Now to another big contest we're watching right now, the race for Texas Attorney General. KENS 5 anchor Deborah Knapp joins me now with the battle for the state's top law enforcement office. Deb?
Well, Easy's the incumbent Republican, Ken Paxton, faces challenger Rochelle Garza. And here's where the results stand right now. The election results 55% for Ken Paxton, 42% for Garza. And Paxton has led substantially all night long. Garza is new to the political scene, hoping to become the first Democrat to serve as Texas AG in decades. Meanwhile, Paxton is up for a third term. Now, polls predicted this to be a tight election. That has not been the case so far. Paxton was endorsed by former President Donald Trump, but he has long been plagued by legal troubles. He was indicted 7 years ago for security fraud charges that are still pending. And Paxton is under investigation by the FBI after several former aides claim he abused his office by helping a wealthy donor. Rochelle Garza is an underdog in this attorney general's race. The Democrat says her top issues include supporting abortion rights. Well, we are waiting to hear from both candidates. Attorney General is a big role in Texas. The job is to defend the state's laws, represent Texas in litigation, and approve public bond issues. Isis?
Thank you, Deb. We'll check back in with you later on in this newscast. Meantime, Bexar County voters were at the polls very late tonight with a last-second rush to make their voices heard. Let's go live now to KENS 5 reporter Vanessa Croy at the Bexar County Elections headquarters. Vanessa, officials there gave you an update just a few minutes ago.
Just a few minutes ago, ECs, and what they told us that votes are slowly coming inside election headquarters tonight. And the reason why, because they have at least 4 sites still online, meaning most likely people are still casting their votes at this hour. They said that many polling sites were forced to keep their doors open after the 7 p.m. cutoff time because so many people were still in line. At UTSA, for example, there were hundreds in line at 7 o'clock waiting to cast their ballot. But despite the last-minute turnout, Bexar County voters just didn't show up today like they did 4 years ago. Let's take a look at those numbers. Right now, official votes have been counted from 90 out of the 302 voting sites. That's about a third of precincts. We just heard that about 15 minutes ago from election officials. They say the number of voters who turned out today exceeded 2018, but the overall numbers are down. In 2018, 49% of registered voters cast their ballot. This year, that number is just below 44%. These low numbers happening even though San Antonio's growth has sparked an increase and registered voters almost 12% from 2018. Now, EC's officials just told us that those long lines and people still voting at this hour is not due to any malfunctions with voting machines or any issues at those polling sites. They just said that so many people came out last minute and the long ballot contributed to those long wait times. Reporting live tonight at election headquarters, Vanessa Croy, KENS 5.
Thank you, Vanessa. Up next, a battle over the border. Results for U.S. House District 28 are still ahead. We have live team coverage of both campaigns. And of course, we will be updating the results all night long. To see the full list, go to kens5.com/elections or just follow along at the bottom of your screen.